And then, unfortunately, Mr. Reed comes in and interrupts her daydreaming. And so we hear him come in and say, "Bo, Madam Mope." That's really interesting because it shows us the kind of contempt that he has for her. He calls her a madam, but only in quotation marks, right? So we know that he thinks it's ridiculous that they would call her madam, and he calls her a moper, so somebody who's depressed and unhappy and has no reason to be so. And he thinks that Jane is just making up this sadness. He doesn't believe that she's actually unhappy at Gateshead Hall, and so that's why he's so dismissive of her. He thinks she's just being a baby, and then he calls her a bad animal. That's really interesting because animals are such a big part of this novel. Remember that Jane has 2 pet dogs that she loves very much, but they both die. And then later on in the novel, she even imagines that she has a kind of a connection with the horse that Mr. Rochester rides. So animals are very important to her. They represent a kind of a kindred spirit, a kind of a fellow sufferer, if you will. And so when Mr. Reed calls her a bad animal, he's really reducing her in his eyes to something that is less than human. He's basically saying that she's an animal, a bad animal, like a dog or a cat, something that can be bought and sold and treated however one likes. So that's why he's so dismissive of her. He doesn't really see her as a human being. But now, as we heard in part 1, Jane has had enough. Next thing we know, she's going to run away from Gateshead Hall and she's going to go off into the world and try to make something of herself.